Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Skokie Village Board for March 21st, 2022. Those of you who don't come regularly to village board meetings, I would just point out, this is the first time, I think, in maybe 2 years, we've actually all been sitting together and not dispersed. So if we appear to be just slightly uncomfortable, you will understand why. We're not used to being this close to each other. At any rate, it's my pleasure to introduce our village clerk. Where is it? Pramod Shah. I was looking over here. That's where I'm used to seeing him for the last 2 years. Pramod will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before calling the roll, I would ask for a motion to allow Trustee Robinson to join the meeting via Zoom. A motion is in order. Trustee Sucker, seconded by Trustee Pure Slovan. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Robinson, Trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Pure Slovan,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. Welcome, Keith. The meeting will come to order officially, and the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Sutker,
Here.
Trustee Robinson,
Here.
Trustee Kuhn,
Here.
Trustee Johnson,
Here.
Trustee Pure Slovan,
Here.
Trustee Klein,
Here.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Here, we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. A motion is in order. Trustee Robinson, seconded by Trustee Pure Slovan. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody would like to have removed? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Robinson,
Aye.
Trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Pure Slovan,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. It's my pleasure to introduce Helene Levine, a member of the village's Board of Fire and Police Commissioners. Helene will be swearing in some new officers, but if I may, I first would like to introduce Fire Chief Hoflick, who's with us this evening, and our Police Chief, Brian Baker.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, if I forget someone as far as naming individuals in introductions, please, you can fill in the blanks. Good evening, Mayor Van Dusen, trustees, Village Clerk Shah, Assistant Village Manager, Wyatt, Corporation Counsel Lorge, Police Chief Baker, Fire Chief Hoflick, and all of us who are here on this very special evening. I want to especially acknowledge the family and friends of tonight's appointees. Before I begin with the induction, the ceremony, I would like to just share a very special poem called Heroes. It was written by a man named Rick Zablonki in 2013. It's a poem for our first responders. Some think the world is now insane and there is more of them than us. But listen to this thoughtful claim. Jump off the hopeless bus. As long as we have heroes near who risk their lives, there isn't much we need to fear, no setting of the sun. In or out of uniform, working or just watching, first responders, as their norm, arrive to do the helping. Forever fear the evil deeds we all must go on living, for good will always plant the seeds of heroes forever giving. Tonight we are here for the swearing of our newest Village of Skokie police officers. as we must never forget that the men and women who serve as first responders deserve our admiration. They are often the first on the scene of a tragedy and provide security and comfort to those suffering. We invest our police officers with authority to promote and keep the peace. We are truly proud of both our Village of Skokie police officers and firefighters. They deserve our support and gratitude as they do their jobs. It is now my great honor to have this opportunity to begin the swearing-in ceremonies. Mai Castillo, come on. Maite Castillo is our first inductee. Will you raise your right hand? And recite your full name, please,
Maite Castillo.
and repeat after me. Do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
Do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
State of Illinois,
State of Illinois,
the ordinances of the Village of Skokie,
the ordinances of the Village of Skokie,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of the Police Department,
of the Police Department,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of a police officer to the best of my ability.
of a police officer to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Officer, congratulations. And would you introduce your family and friends who are with you this evening?
Yes, so my mother and father, my sister and brother, and my husband.
Terrific. Welcome.
Anjam Gulati. Anjam. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Anjam Galati,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
State of Illinois,
State of Illinois,
the ordinances of the Village of Skokie,
the ordinances of the Village of Skokie,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of the Police Department,
of the Police Department,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of a police officer to the best of my ability.
of a police officer to the best of my ability.
Your certificate.
Okay, and
Congratulations.
officer, congratulations and welcome. Would you introduce your family and friends?
Today is also my mom, my dad, and my little brother.
Mark Conceris. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
state your name,
Mark Canizares,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
State of Illinois,
the State of Illinois,
the ordinances of the Village of Skokie,
the ordinance of the Village of Skokie,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of the Police Department,
of the Police Department,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of a police officer to the best of my ability.
of a police officer to the best of my ability.
Your certificate of appointment, congratulations.
Officer Cantazares, did I get your name correct?
Yes, sir.
I practiced it this afternoon, so I was hoping I got it right. Would you introduce your family and friends?
Yes, sir. That's my brother, my dad, my mother, and my girlfriend, Olivia.
Welcome. Wonderful to have
Thank you.
you. You are joining one of the finest police departments in the United States. Now, you would expect that we would say that hometown pride. But it's the professional organizations that say that as well as us. It's highly recommended. It's fully authorized by the different accrediting organizations around the country. It's a flagship department, which means it's a model for other departments in the United States. But I think what is most important is every 3 years we do a survey. It's done professionally, outside of the village, a company that does this across the country, compares departments and so on. And one of the things that has always impressed me is that our residents rank our police and our fire department both upwards of 90 percentile. Where else do you find that? And I think it's because of the professionalism of the men and women who work in our department. A lot of it starts with the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners, who do a lot of the heavy lifting, the interviewing, the selection process. You know, because you've been through it. It's not easy, especially taking that oath. It can be a little intimidating, but you're joining the best of the best, and Chief Baker stands out among them. So you've got quality leadership. Welcome. We're proud of you, and we look forward to seeing you back here for promotions and various social occasions. Congratulations. And why don't we take a short break so we can all congratulate our new officers and welcome them personally. So we'll take a short, maybe 5-minute break. The meeting will return to order, and the next item on the agenda is a presentation by Ann Tennis, our Director of Marketing and Communications, Workforce Training Initiatives.
Thank you,
Ann?
Mayor. Good evening. It's my pleasure to provide yet another presentation for you. I feel like I'm the lucky one. I get to come up here and share all the good news. And I'm particularly excited to be able to share the details of this initiative with you. It is a workforce training initiative, as the mayor said, and it is a strong partnership between the Village of Skokie and Oakton Community College. The program purpose is to provide Skokie residents who are either unemployed or underemployed with full scholarship support to enroll in short-term certificate training programs at Oakton Community College. The goal of the program is to help residents secure employment to provide for themselves and their families, and thus reduce reliance on social services. The program began in earnest in January 2021. I say it like that because the grants, the initial grants that funded the program were secured in fall of 2020. Here's how the program funding has come together. The initial funding was in a grant from the Skokie Community Foundation in 2021 that was followed by another grant from the foundation in 2022. In addition, an equivalent grant was received for the equivalent to the first Skokie Community Foundation grant from the Education Foundation serving the students of Niles Township. That was an interesting grant because one of their directors on that Education Foundation heard about this initiative, and they actually invited us to submit a grant application. So we're really grateful for that funding that helped launch the program. Supplemental funding is being provided through the village's receipts from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. And these grants fund all tuition, fees, book costs, and other ancillary expenses for short-term certificate training programs at Oakton. Who qualifies for the program? Skokie residents who are unemployed or underemployed with household monthly gross income within 150% of the federal poverty level. So there is a means test that is part of this equation. The application and registration process, we have worked hard. Both partners have worked very hard to make it as streamlined yet as comprehensive as possible. Interested residents must complete an online application, or if they don't have easy access to a computer, they can call the Health and Human Services Department. The Health and Human Services Director, Mike Charlie, I need to give him a big shout out tonight to both Mike and both Brian McHugh and Iris Barrios, who are on the village's social work staff. The three of them have been very involved in this program, and Mike has recently revamped the program application, and it is streamlined and it is easy for residents to use. After residents apply, there's an initial intake from one of the social work staff. It now is Iris Barrios. And qualifying residents are then connected to a dedicated team at Oakton Community College. And I'll explain a little bit more about why I use the word dedicated in just a moment. So, key program components. The ongoing support and check-ins from Health and Human Services. When this program was first envisioned, two components that those involved really believed were necessary for success, or to set the program up for the best success possible, was to have Health and Human Services very closely involved with the residents who are taking part in the program. So in addition to the residents applying, there's an initial intake from Health and Human Services, and they're then handed off to the team at Oakton. Our Health and Human Services staff continue to check in with the residents throughout the time that they're involved in their coursework at the college to find out if there's any other support services that might help them or their families as they persist in their studies. And then the ongoing support from Oakton, we also decided that we had to have a small designated team at Oakton so that when Skokie residents who are part of the program went to the college and were registering and going through their academic advising, we didn't want it to just be the luck of the draw. And again, not to say that Oakton doesn't have excellent staff throughout, but we thought that for program purposes, it would be best to have a small group of dedicated staff, and that's exactly what Oakton has provided. So it's almost like a one-stop shop to try to make it easier and less intimidating for residents, some of whom for this might be their first endeavor into higher education or training. I'm pleased to tell you that since January 2021, 12 residents have been or are currently being served by the program. Courses requiring 18 credit hours or less qualify, and there's some examples listed here. We chose this because of the cost. Oakton is a very, very reasonable, affordable education facility for our residents and for the community. But we decided to put this cap on the number of hours because some of the programs that Oakton offers short-term can go up to 25, even 30 hours. And we really wanted to be able to spread these funds as far across our residents as possible to provide the most residents possible with benefits. And this is just a list of some of the courses that the students have selected. The students select, once they're in the program, they talk not only with our Health and Human Services staff, but with the counseling staff at Oakton to help determine the best coursework for them. General programmer, pharmacy technician, leadership excellence. We've actually had, I think, a couple of students enrolled in that. Microsoft specialist, Revit building architecture, and I have a footnote on that student coming up. Cannabis cultivation, income tax preparation, medical coding and billing, and Microsoft Office advanced specialist. So here are a few success stories to share with you. One resident completed the Microsoft Office certificate and is currently working with Oakton Community College, the career counseling team, to help get their resume polished up and help them get ready to seek employment. One resident, and this goes back to the Revit building architecture that I referenced before, after taking several courses in this program, the individual had gained enough knowledge that they were able to secure full-time employment in that field using that particular architecture software, and they chose not to continue with their coursework. So we see that as a success. Even though they didn't come out with a degree, they actually were able to gain a better employment opportunity because of having taken those courses. Another resident reported to Iris Barrios that he has received tremendous support from his instructor and classmates that has helped him develop more structure to his daily routine. So even apart from his studies, his involvement in this class and the relationships that he's forging with his fellow students are helping to improve other areas of his life. And he's also now, Iris is helping him secure a computer upgrade. The technology he has available is a little outdated, so Iris is trying to find some community resources to help him. And finally, another resident, I think this is the one who was taking the tax preparation, reports that just learning more about technology and being on Zoom calls has helped her gain more confidence and proficiency and to not be afraid of technology, which again, for some people, can be a real barrier to securing better employment opportunities. So in conclusion, applications for the summer and fall 2022 terms are currently underway through March 31st. It's posted on the website. It's been in e-news. It'll be in tomorrow's e-news, and it was in the hard copy newsletter as well. Our goal is for all students, at least all the students who are enrolled right now, to complete their coursework this calendar year. If additional funding is secured, the program could continue into 2023 and beyond. The Village team, again, it's Iris Barrios, Mike Charlie, and myself. I did mention Brian McHugh. He's now on assignment through our co-responder team, but Brian was the Health and Human Service staff representative when we initially launched the program. And the Oakton team, again, I can't tell you enough how, the Village partners with Oakton and has for decades on numerous initiatives, but this has really solidified our partnership as well. Mark Batista, the Associate Vice President of Workforce Education, and he wears a couple hats. He's also the Dean of Business and Career Technologies. Mark leads the team, and it's a small group of staff from the registration, academic advising, and career services departments within the college. So with that said, it's really a broad brush overview. I look forward to answering any questions you have and in the future to providing further updates. Yes.
Can you share any demographic information for the 40 applicants who applied in terms of age range or English being a second language, where they were interested in this program?
No, I'm glad you asked that question. I don't have definitive information, but there are a few nuggets I can offer. I do know that there's at least 3 of the participants I'm thinking of, and I haven't met them. These are just, we do have regular check-ins with Mark Batista and myself and the Health and Human Services staff, so I do hear about the students. I know the 4 that I referenced in those examples are all adults. They are beyond what you would think of as traditional college age. I would venture to guess that a couple of them are older even than 50 years old. Not that that's old, I'm saying, it's not old at all. I'm just trying to provide context.
Watch where you're going.
Well, I'm right there with you, Mayor. So, the other, and this is just a small piece, when we applied for the funding from the Education Foundation that serves the students of Niles Township, one of the items that we voluntarily put into the grant request was that we would make sure that all of the students that were funded by that pool of funds, not all the funds that I mentioned, but that pool of funds, would have to either have a child who attends a Skokie school district, or that they themselves were a graduate. And all, as of about last fall, we checked that out, and there were 7 students enrolled at that time, 6 or 7, and they all had graduated from a Skokie school. Again, older, so they're not traditional college age. Beyond that, I don't have the demographics. I can try to secure them from Health and Human Services. Again, just to go back to one of the earlier slides, there is that means test.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to make sure that that residents who truly need the assistance are participating.
Yeah, I'm also curious, just out of the total population that applied in terms of interest and how that, not just those that were enrolled, but just in general where the applicants were, to kind of understand the need as well for.
So you want to know the demographics for the breadth of
the broader.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I will do my best to secure that information from Health and Human Services.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee Klein?
What about placement? Can you speak on that? Do we help them after?
When it's done, we continue the partnership with Oakton. And Oakton has a very robust career services, and so we encourage the students to participate in those types of initiatives. I haven't checked in with Health and Human Services about that lately, because again, most of our students are still doing their coursework, but the intent of the program is that we will continue to help them until they secure employment, whether it's through the resources at Oakton, whether it's through other services that our Health and Human Services Department can direct them to, or even through the Skokie Public Library, because the library has an extensive, career resource center as well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
Next item on the agenda is report of our acting village manager. I'm sorry. Keith? I think Keith had I'm sorry, Keith.
Yeah, hi guys.
Sorry.
I actually had a couple of questions for
Yes.
Ms. Dennis,
Yes.
if that's okay, Mayor.
Of course.
The first question was, first of all, super excited about the workforce program. I was wondering if the outreach material was provided in translation in different languages?
The information, I don't believe that the application is in different languages, but the article that is posted on the village website can be translated using Google Translate.
Okay, that's one question. The other one I had was, can we anticipate the number of students that the program can support?
The average cost per student, and this is an average, is about $2,300. I just did the math this afternoon because I anticipated the question. And our total pool of funding, available funding right now, is just shy of of available funding, and I'll explain that in a moment. And I don't want to quote this off the top of my head, but I think the total amount of available funding that remains is about $24,000 to $25,000. And the reason I say remaining, one of the great things that Oakton does as part of their work in this program, they keep this master spreadsheet, and they not only log the cost of the current tuition, but they extrapolate out, assuming that these students who are enrolled persist, what is the total cost for the tuition and all the fees for that student to actually cross the finish line and get their certificate. So our initial, or the pool of funds altogether was just shy of $50,000. And as of now, I think uncommitted, we have about $24,000 or $25,000 remaining at an average cost of $2,300 per student. Does that help?
It does. So
Okay.
quick math, 20 kids with full funding.
Yeah.
20 students, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And the last thing was just, I'm hoping that the program has continued coaching and supports throughout the program, just to keep students excited about the opportunity and engaged.
Yes, and again, that's why we have these small dedicated teams, because we knew that was going to be important. Iris Barrios checks in regularly with the students who are enrolled. We're in close contact with Oakton, and during these calls, we actually go through student by student and talk about how they're doing, what they're studying. Iris gives her take on, what she learned when she last spoke to them, et cetera. So we are trying, again, the key to success, we think, is to just, to the extent we can, wrap services around these students to help them persist. That's the goal, to help them persist and finish their coursework and obtain better employment.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Trustee Sutker.
I have one more question. I
Okay,
can't
sure.
help but ask this. Cannabis cultivation, the program,
Yes.
what does that include?
I wish I could tell you, I don't have that coursework in front of me, but Oakton was a leader in this nationally for offering certificates, because cannabis is business, and it now means careers for people. And so Oakton, this is one of, I think, 2 or 3 different cannabis-focused business certificates that Oakton is offering. I don't know the details of it. I'm sure it's available on the college website. I can look and send out look at what the courses are for that and send it out.
Just curious.
Okay.
I could look for it. Thank you.
Smoking 101, edibles 102.
And my guess is cannabis cultivation, this is a guess, but it may have to do with, my understanding is that different strains, from a medicinal standpoint, can have different impacts. So my hunch is that it maybe has to do with that, but I'm not sure.
Thank you.
You would think I would have gotten better with the Zoom, so I apologize, Keith. Well, I'll work on it. Next item on the agenda is report of our acting village manager, Nick Wyatt.
Thank you, Mayor and trustees, and good evening. Item A on the manager's report was approved under tonight's consent agenda. Item B is a request for executive session. Pursuant to Section 2, Paragraph C5 and C6 of the State of Illinois Open Meetings Act, a closed session is requested and to adjourn therefrom.
A motion for an executive session per the assistant manager's request is in order. Trustee Sucker, seconded by Trustee Kuhn. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Robinson,
Aye.
Trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Pure Slovin,
Aye.
Trustee Klein, Mayor Vendus.
Aye. The motion passes.
That would conclude my report.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is report of our Corporation Counsel, Michael Large.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. Good evening, everyone. Item A is an ordinance which was on the consent agenda tonight at the beginning of our meeting and was adopted at that time. Item B is a resolution on my report for first reading and board action tonight. This resolution will authorize and approve the redevelopment agreement between Old Orchard Urban Limited Partnership and the Village of Skokie. OLP intends to implement a multi-year redevelopment plan of Old Orchard with improvements such as renovation of existing structures, filling existing vacancies, improving common area elements, and creating a luxury wing with internationally known retailers. On March 7th, 2022, as you recall, this board adopted ordinances 22-3-Z4593 and 22-3C4594, which established a business district for Old Orchard with a new sales tax from those who use and shop at Old Orchard to help OLP improve Old Orchard in accordance with the Business District Act of the state of Illinois, and thereby to augment OLP's own significant financial commitment over the years to sustain Old Orchard as a premier shopping mall. The agreement contemplated by and consistent with these ordinances sets forth the terms by which OLP shall collaborate and cooperate with Skokie in the execution of the business district plan and the public administration and use of the business district sales tax revenue. It includes a method to review the request for business district sales tax revenue, semi-annual meetings to discuss the requested revenue, and to discuss anticipated further financial engagement by OLP. Mayor, I'll be requesting board action on this ordinance tonight, on this resolution tonight.
A motion on the resolution as proposed by the Corporation Council is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Kuhn. Comments or questions? If not,
One question.
Trustee Kuhn.
I just wanted to thank and acknowledge the sustainability goals that were included as part of this plan as well, and just the thought that went into it and integrated it as part of OLP's global initiative as well, and incorporating that within the business district plan. So thank you for doing that.
It was a combination, and we should know and recognize when we have good partners in the village. This is something that is part of Westfield's general corporate priorities, and we found pieces of it, and they were more than willing to help us put it into this agreement. So it was a good way to embrace what we know we've all been talking about.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Kuhn.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Nay.
Trustee Pure Slovin.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. That would conclude my report for tonight.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody from the village and from Westfield who worked on the redevelopment agreement. It was just a couple sleepless nights. Those phone calls at midnight. Can we put this in? Can we take this out? Why did you put this in? But I think we've come to a very good understanding, and I want to thank everybody for the hard work you did. I think the best days for Westfield Old Orchard are ahead of it. And so thanks to everybody. Next item is public comment. I would like to just take note, Walt Holden, who I think many of you here may have known, passed away 2 days ago. Walt was one of those very quiet people who, whenever there was a function in the village requiring volunteer help, Walt was there. Very quiet fella, very friendly, but also very persistent. He felt that one of the things missing in the village was a Lions Club. And I remember he came to the office and we took seats together, and I asked him, Walt, what's on your mind? And he said, you're going to join the Lions Club. And I said, we don't have a Lions Club. And he said, after you promise me you're going to join, we will have one. So I said, well, yes, I will join. Just understand my time limitations. Well, he did. But in addition to that, he always was volunteering when we did the annual green over at Niles North or Niles West. Walt was one of the first people to volunteer, and literally rain or shine, he was always out there helping put the electronics, recycling away, and everything. He was just a wonderful man, and we will miss him dearly. Public comments. Is there anybody who wishes to address the board? If not, I think we did have a couple written comments.
We had
Two this evening, so the board's received those. Trustee Sutker,
I move we adjourn for executive session.
we are adjourned.